Hi, folks. Caregiver Joe here. Today I thought I would talk to you a little bit about walkers. Walkers are walking aids that our clients use in order for them to maintain their mobility, activity, and what we call ambulation, walking, moving about. And you will be in charge of your client's walkers and how your client will use them. So good to know a little bit of information about your client's walker. So there's different types of walkers that you're going to see. One of the types is going to be with the 4 posts, and those 4 posts are going to have the little rubber stubbies on them. So every morning when you get your client out of bed, you should be checking their walker for any safety concerns. Number one would be those rubber stubbies. Do they still look good? Have they been worn out? Sometimes they're actually missing. They take them off, or by accident they come off. Make sure they have the 4 rubber stubbies and they look like they're in good shape for your client to use them. Always trying to prevent falls in our clients. Also check the walker to make sure everything looks secure, the little nuts and bolts. Don't be afraid to tighten them up. You're allowed to do that. And make sure the walker is safe before you're going to get your client to use it. Now, when you get your client to use the walker, you never ever get them to go from a sitting position and hold on to the walker. You move the walker out of the way first. You would stand the resident up doing your normal transfer stand that we learned. And that means bending down, eye to eye contact, knees on knees, feet on feet, touching your resident, hands underneath your resident's arms to their upper back. And then you count 1, 2, 3, stand up. And then when your resident is in standing position, you move the walker over to them. Tell your resident now to grab onto the walker. And there actually is a specific way to move the walker. So the walker would always move first, approximately 15 to 25 centimeters. 15 to 25 centimeters first. And then you can tell your client to move whichever weak leg would go second, strong leg would go third, and then repeat. Walker, weak leg, strong leg. That's the safe way to do it. Now, some of these walkers are becoming more and more sophisticated. So you're also going to see the walkers that have the 4 wheels. They have the 4 brakes. They have a basket. They have a nice chair. They're remote control. Different sophisticated walkers like that. So same type of procedure. You make sure it's working properly. Your client can use it. Now, usually they have brakes on the handles, so that's another good tip. Whenever you get your client to grab onto the walker, after you stand them up, make sure you release those brakes, because if they push it forward, they could fall. Make sure those brakes are released when you tell your client to start walking. And then the other tricky thing about walkers is when your client wants to sit down in a chair. You don't want the walker running into the chair, high risk for falls if that occurs. So you're actually supposed to do a little semicircle. Like you would kind of tell the resident to do a little semicircle in front of the chair that you want them to sit in. So once they've done that semicircle, they should still be very close to the chair. They might have to take 1 or 2 steps back while you're supporting them. Then they would grab onto the armrest of the chair, and you make sure they sit down on the chair safely, right? So you are supposed to do that if your client is sitting down in the chair. Get them to do that little U-turn first. Again, when you get them to stand up, you would move the walker out of the way, stand them up safely first, hand them their walker second, tell them to grab onto it, and make sure you release those brakes before they start walking with their walker. Hey, hope that was helpful, and I'll see you next time on JoJo the Caregiving Show. Remember to like, share, and subscribe.